Hello everyone, this is Josh Explain Place, and I am excited because today we are starting a new city in Cities Skylines 2. Now that we have the Economy 2.0 update, as well as some patches and some free content. So let's begin. And before we start talking about Cities Skylines 2 and how the game is doing, let's start our new city. So we're gonna do a new game. And I think for this new city, we're gonna do the San Francisco map, and we're gonna call it Fort Austin. Again, I live in Texas, so I'm trying to do cities with names of Texas cities. Of course, in other states, their cities named the same. So let's start the game. Again, we're gonna try to see if it's more difficult or if it's easier to start a city and to start making money. That's something that we need to figure out if this economy 2.0 update help or not. I'm gonna start to do a grid in this city. I am gonna add a little bit more of this road here because in the near future, once we start growing, I do want to have a one-way street go from this here and the other one-way street that go from this side here, and then do a nice curve and get into this exit. Although we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this overall. Also, I am not gonna use this grid tool because I really wish we were able to select how big we wanted the grid to be. That would be even more helpful. So let's start by doing this grid. Usually I would do this in fast forward, but we need to talk a little bit about the state of the game and the state of Cities Skylines 2. I like to think that I'm a little bit more fair when it comes to all of this. I like to think that things aren't as bad as people say they are, but also things are kind of not as good as people claim they are. Um, I try to be as unbiased as I can because, first of all, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand and have issues with, this is a commercial product. The game that you're playing is a game made to make money, to do revenue and all that. And we as consumers have options. We can either consume the product or we can decide not to do anything about it. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, trying to think that this game is something that was created for the good of humanity or whatnot. And it's still a good game. Nobody's gonna argue about it, but we need to be honest about what these games are. Also, yes, start your cities with a grid. That's what most cities started as, especially here where I live in North America. So I think having a grid is a great way to start the game, especially because it's efficient. You utilize all the space between the roads, and so I think it's a great way to start your city. So we're gonna continue doing this grid and also talk about the perception that some people have regarding this game and other city builder games. I think that even today we're struggling to understand what Cities Skylines is. Cities Skylines, for better or worse, is not SimCity. And to me, SimCity is actually more of a city management game as opposed to Cities Skylines that feels a little bit more as a city. People call it city painter. I kind of agree and disagree, but that's usually what people like for it to be, or like to call it basically. and City Painter because you can do a lot of stuff in terms of creating your city. Like you actually don't have to play the game to have the city be your way, right? There's a lot of mods now, with the updates. There's mods, there's assets. You can do a lot of stuff, and even the game allows you to play with unlimited money, which I still think that it's a bit of an issue. Um, Again, of course, it's an option, right? And I'm thankful that it would be an issue if it was the default option, which is not. Some changes that are in this new update are the fact that we are not having any more subsidies, and I think that's gonna increase the difficulty at the beginning of the game, which is something don't that I think it's a good idea, kinda. But again, if you have unlimited money, I don't see why having the subsidies option would have been an issue. You can decide if you want to use subsidies or not. I think that's the best way to do things. Allow the people that are actually playing the game to actually play. So first, we're gonna do a transformer station, and I think I'm gonna use this here. Do that. That way we have access to electricity. Okay, I don't know why I did that, but okay. Also, we're gonna have to see if we can unlock this tile, or a couple of these tiles. That way we can have access to the expressway from this area. So it's a pretty nice, pretty good grid. I think it's gonna work really, really well. The only other thing that I do like to do is to have water. So I think the water we're gonna get from here, and the sewage we're gonna leave here. And the way that I'm seeing it right now is let's see, we have the wind. We are gonna have our industry on this side, close to the water, and then we're gonna have all our residential on this side, right? So let's also do some little streets to get these things connected. I do like the way that we have roads here in City Skylines too. I think there's always room for improvement, and I think that's something that the game should look into, because I don't think that it's perfect. Again, but it's more, it's good enough. Like for example, in here, there's no reason why there has to be this gap. And once you start doing more grids or different roads, more curved roads, you're gonna realize that it's a little bit tricky to get things to line up properly, even if you're doing your best to do it. So let's unpause the game, and we can see it's a nice start, a really nice start. We have a lot of good space to expand. So let's add some residential here and here. Wait, not here. This is gonna be our power grid lines. So we're gonna do that there. We have needs for commercial, so we're gonna do some here. I'm gonna try to leave this open for the services that we have for our city. And of course, we need to have industry in our city. And while we let this run a little bit, let's continue talking about the whole situation with this game. I think nowadays, because of how things are, the focus is definitely, of course, it's always been, but now more than ever, to make money. And the fact that we don't understand that a lot of times these companies will not have everything ready when we want them to be, especially games. And if we go back to maybe last year and this year, we are gonna take a look at one big that maybe we're ready or we're not ready. And we can think the biggest example would be Cyberpunk 2077. And I think that's a game that a lot of people uh, had a lot of faith, were very excited about. And when it came time to it, the the game wasn't what people expected it to be, right? It was glitchy, things weren't working properly, and I think that was something that a lot of people, of course, realized was a big issue. In contrast, we can talk about Breath of the Wild, a game that even Nintendo told us that they were gonna be waiting, and now we got to our first milestone. That's great. Let's slow this down and let's continue talking just a little bit. Talking about why they decided to wait another year and basically, quote unquote, polish the game. And I think that was a very smart thing to do for them, because I think that the game completely benefited from that, right? And so we opened healthcare, and as you can see in here, we have this small medical clinic that it's part of the new free update that the developers have given us, as opposed to having a medical clinic. Of course, the cost is gonna be half, but also there's less capacity for people. And I think we're still gonna do the regular clinic, and we're gonna put it here. Okay. And we're gonna wait for the cemetery because it's a big expense. What we need to do is actually do some garbage, and I think this area will be perfect. So let's unlock this tile. And as a reminder, in this new update, these tiles are gonna cost money to keep, to open. So basically the cost is not only the cost to purchase them, which increases as you start purchasing more tiles, but the fact that you have a cost for having these tiles open. As you can see here, we can buy another one, and it's gonna tell you how much the upkeep is gonna be. Again, if that's a way to increase the difficulty of the game, I'm kinda in disagreement. Again, but we'll see how things
Well,
go.
quite frankly, yes.
And let's
It
just
is
do
an
this
additional
for
expense,
now. Let's
but
have
the
our
residents have come to expect a certain level of services, and we simply do not have the capacity to provide them within the city.
Sounds like we're
landfill
the ones
here.
who will end up paying for it.
And of course,
Should we
I'm
be
thinking
worried?
that we're gonna have to
I
change
expect the
things
residents would be
as
more distressed if key services became
the city
unavailable.
grows,
Their quality of life is very
because I don't
important
think
to
this is
them.
gonna be the
But
most
so
appropriate
is their
place.
money.
But I think
We'll
for
be
now
back
it was the
after
most
this.
appropriate place. So we are gonna start looking at our information here. Really, traffic is fine. We shouldn't care. Electricity, as you can see, we're not producing anything. We're importing 2.85 megawatt hours, I guess. We might think about placing an electricity plant. We'll see, a power plant. We'll see about that. The water, we're more than enough. We're having more than enough water. And this is one of the things about micromanaging at the beginning that I used to do a lot in cities Skylines 1. Same thing with healthcare. I mean, there's more than we need. And the same thing for garbage. About this one, we'll see, because it gets kind of weird when it comes to processing. We have the availability, but the processing is not there. And so that's one of the things that I think are basic in cities skylines. The fact that, for example, here you have to decrease, let's do 50% for now. Same thing for healthcare and same thing for garbage. Of course, it's going to be, things are going to be less efficient, but these, as you can see, we're already losing a little bit less, right? And that's what we need to make sure that we do. Another thing that I don't like, and SimCity, I'm sorry, City Skylines 1 and City Skylines 2 is basically the same, is the fact that we are opening the medium density residential very early on, as you can see here. And I think that's still very unrealistic. I mean, SimCity 4 is a great game and it's close to perfection when it comes to this type of city builders and city simulators. And I think that the fact that that the game doesn't allow you to just grow things just because, right? Like it takes a while for the game to say, you know what, we need medium density housing. You know what, we need high density housing. And I think that's something that City Skylines does very fast. Like, okay, you need, you know, more density. That's fine. You can build it no matter what. And even though in this game proportions look way better, right? Things look a little bit more realistic. Well, not a little bit more, way more realistic compared to Cities Skylines 1. But I still think that the population is still a little bit off. Even though right now, of course, we're a very small town, and that should be fine. So we'll see how things go. So now that we started this grid, I think we can start trying to figure out how else to do our grid. You know, we're doing right now exact squares for grids, but I think from here on we can try a little bit more for rectangle blocks. So basically I think in here we can do one, and I'm gonna keep zoning low density in the bigger squares, but I'm gonna do a little bit of medium density in these other regular squares. I'm gonna do the same, and as you can see, we already have the demand going down. Another thing that I want to do is we need some more revenue. So the only realistic thing that I think we can do for now, since we don't have anything for farming or anything like that, and we really don't have forestry that much, I think it's gonna be stone mining. And I think even though it's gonna look horrible, but I think we can do it here. That way we have access to a little bit more money early on. And again, that's one of the issues with this game. You know, it's not as easy to make money right away, which it wasn't easy in SimCity or City Skylines 1. And that's fine. I think again that's part of the whole situation with trying to make the game a little bit more difficult. So let's do this for now. Right, we're gonna do our gravel, our pit, our sand and gravel pit. In this case, the stone mining, and we can later on we can unlock. I think one square should be fine because there we go. we have enough resources to do ore mining, and it's something that we should unlock pretty soon. So going back to the whole situation with this game, I also think that even in today's date, we're kind of polarized with everything, of course, right? And I think that's a little bit unfortunate because we we should be able to understand how things work, and we should be able to be fair. Let's do this actually here. Um, we can like something and criticize it, and can dislike something and praise it. I think being humans and being able to make distinctions about how things work or not, I think we're fine. Um, you shouldn't get mad because I like and dislike this game. Your perception of the game should not invalidate my perception of the game, or my opinion of the game should not invalidate your opinion of the game. And I think that's a lot of how things are right now. That you either are on one side of the of the table or on the other. There's no middle ground, and it's sad that there's no middle ground for this game either. There's people who love this game unconditionally. There's people who will hate this game unconditionally, um, and it's fine, right? There's no wrong or right answer for this, at least for the way that we see things or we should see things. See, this is something that I hate. There's no reason why this should happen. So for me, the thing is this: if you don't enjoy something, you have the option to not consume it. If I don't enjoy playing this game, I will just not consume it anymore. It's so bad. This is something they should actually deal with. But you should be fair with things too, right? There's no reason to hate on the game. There's no reason to completely demonize the publishers, the developers, or everything, or whoever likes and enjoys this game. I personally think that this game was rushed, and I think that the fact that it was rushed, it didn't allow it to get better. First of all, it was very empty when it was released. Now that we have a little bit more free content, I think it's working better, but it was just very bare. Now, we also forget the state of Cities Skylines 1 when it released, right? And we forget that as of right now, there's a lot of DLCs, a lot of content creator packs, and a whole lot more mods and assets to download from the workshop. And I think that's one of the issues that a lot of people don't want to see. The fact that, you know what, this game grew a lot as time went on. And we need to give it the benefit of the doubt, just like we gave it to Cities Skylines 1. We supported the game, we supported the DLCs, we supported the paid DLCs, paid content creator. Now we have reached another milestone. I don't know what this is. Okay. And I think that it's a little bit unfair that we're doing that to this game. But at the same time, we have to be honest and we have to be realistic and say, you know what? Yeah, this game, didn't do things properly at the beginning. And I think that's one of the issues. We don't have bicycles here. We are lacking a lot of stuff that we had for sure in Cities Skylines 1 and didn't at the beginning. For example, in here, I'm just gonna do a simple quote-unquote park. Again, we don't have anything unlocked, so I'm just gonna do a big X. And do some vegetation here. And do some pine trees. And we'll do another one, maybe here. And so I think people are being very unfair. And again, I'm not trying to be apologetic because that's far from what I want to do with this game. Because we need to have responsibility uh, for this game. We need to have the developers accept responsibility for how bad they released this game, right? And again, it just didn't feel a complete game, and I think that's the main issue. They didn't do things as they should have, and they're paying the consequences, for better or for worse. And I think that's one of the big issues with this game. And they're trying to fix it. They're trying to fix their mistakes. Again, I do think that they had that opportunity when they beta and alpha tested the game with very well-known YouTubers that play this game for a living. And I think that maybe they didn't feel the need to actually listen to what they had to say, or to actually do the game as these people that, again, make a living playing their game told them. And I think that was a mistake. That's a big mistake. So we got to small village, which allowed us to get more larger loans. We got some money. We got 2 more development points and 2 expansion permits, and now we have medium density, education now, and some of this cool stuff. Again, let's take a look at, let's lower the speed, let's add a little bit more of industry, and before we take a look at what we have for education, let's take a look at our water. So we're doing well at 50% of the budget, so that's great. Again, we're doing well with healthcare and cemetery availability. I think we're fine, again, for now. And healthcare and, again, garbage, I think this is going to be a big issue, but it's not an issue for now, so we'll wait for it. Again, the only thing that we can do to make things better is to do the hazardous waste collection point. That will increase our processing speed. Again, it's 22 tons per month for each, so we'll see if we can do that.
Well, quite frankly, yes.
Let's see if we can get rid of this with a small
level of services, and we simply
roundabout.
do not have the
Yes, we
capacity
can.
to provide them within the city.
I do like the fact that roundabouts are a little bit more organic in this game. Of course, you can do roundabouts the way that we did them in cities Skylines.
Their quality of life is very important to them.
They're asking for more medium density, as you can see here. So let's put some more medium density. And I still want to do the smaller medium density building or zoning. I don't want the tall buildings, again, because it's not realistic that a city this size already has big buildings. So we'll take it from there. Now, before we go to education, let's take a look at our money. And as you can see, we're already doing not that bad. We were losing twice what we are losing right now. And basically, our biggest issue is the service rate. We're paying a lot for electricity. So we have a couple of options. We can continue doing that because we are currently importing about 10.31 megawatt hours. That's what I'm gonna call it. And so if we go here and we try to see, this plant is gonna cost us 100,000, and it's gonna provide up to 20 megawatt hours. So I think that's gonna be a better option. Again, we're losing about, let's go back to the budget. We're losing about $100,000 per month because of the service rate, which is a lot. And in here, if we get this plant, it should be a whole lot less. So let's build this power plant, and we're gonna build it. Let's build it here. Right. We're gonna build it there, and we're just gonna build a substation here. Okay, and we're gonna connect it. There you go. So now if we do this, as you can see, this service rate should start going down. It's not, and I don't know why, but let's see. We still need a little bit more power. Oh, sorry, this is the water, which again, we need to increase the water now. We're gonna do 70, so we don't have to worry in a bit. Electricity, we're doing well. And budget, we are finally making money again in the second milestone, which is a big deal, because that means that even without the subsidies, this thing is working. This game, City Skylines 2, is working a whole lot better, and so it's great. You know, we are now even exporting, so that's great. And again, it's gonna go up and down, so we'll see how it goes, right? But we can prove that we can do this better. Also, we can increase the taxes. We could do that right now, but I think we're fine. And we should be fine again for now. We're almost there. We're almost there. But we saw it that we were able to do that. And so let's continue expanding. And what we're being asked for is schools. We need schools, right? So now we have this small elementary school, we have the regular elementary school, and we have the urban elementary school. Of course, each one has more capacity. The small has a capacity of 400 students. The regular one that we used to put has 1,000, and the urban one has a capacity of 1,500 students. In terms of high school, the small high school again is 400, the regular high school 800, and the urban high school is also 800. And of course, we need to unlock more stuff. But we're gonna do, just for now, since the capacity is 400, and if we look at our tab, the eligible students are 152, so we should be able to be fine with this small school. And you know what, let's place it here. I think it's a great place to put it. There you go. And let's try to do a small high school. And this small high school, I think I'm gonna place here. Okay. And now we got to milestone 3. Of course, we are now losing money because we have education, which is something that we weren't considering. But we'll be back. Of course, we'll be back once we start doing this. So let's try to do things faster. And we do have to place both a fire rescue, which we now have the regular firehouse, and we have the urban firehouse. So we're gonna do the regular firehouse, and we're low on money, but this one has 10 patrol cars and this one has 6. Let's do the regular police station, right? And we're gonna place it here. Okay. And as of now, we just have to figure out how to continue making more money, because of course, as you can see, now we're losing a whole lot more. And the first thing that we're going to do is increase taxes to 11. That should help us a little bit. And we need to put some more industrial, so that's that. We'll take it from there. And again, there's no issues with losing money as long as your city keeps growing. In here, you're going to see, of course, we're going to be losing and making money Uh, for this, as you can see, we're only having 13 students, and for this, we're only having 86. So we can, lower the services to 50%. That should help us also a lot. As you can see, it's already helping. We are making money with the selling of electricity. Unfortunately, this building cannot be expanded like the other buildings, and so I think it's gonna be fine. And let's do some more of this medium density stoning. Again, I don't like the fact that we need this type of zoning right away. I mean, look at the older towns, and they don't really have that right away. That's the way that this game likes to do it. Again, we're not zoning anything in here because I do want to do or want to have this the power grid run through it here, and then with whatever we keep building here for the industrial zone. We're still doing not that good in terms of budget. It's gonna keep getting better. The fact that we're gonna keep on growing and we're gonna keep on doing this. It's what matters. Let's take a look at we unlock the Balter Pines. Let's take a look at our information. There's no parking. Again, we haven't unlocked any parking, and we haven't talked about the progression and the expansion points or anything like that. Traffic, I think it's okay for now. It shouldn't be a big deal. Electricity, again, we're producing more than we need, and we are exporting whatever we don't use. In terms of water, we're doing great. We're not gonna need anything that much. In terms of healthcare, we're gonna have to start increasing the budget as the city grows because these will get used fast. In terms of garbage, again, we just need more processing power, and I think by building one of those expansions for the landfill will work. Fire rescue, I think we're doing well enough. Disaster control, we don't have anything yet. Police, also, I think police is working great. We don't have anything for administration. Education, I also think that we're gonna be doing really well with this. In terms of tourism, yeah, there's no tourism yet. The connections, whatever we have is what we have. In terms of land value, it's not a big deal. We have the natural resources that we'll want to exploit, at least on this side maybe, or maybe here, because it does help. In terms of population, it's mostly adults, very little teens, very little seniors, and then children, which again shows that people are barely moving in. It's a brand new city. In terms of happiness, of course, we need to figure out the healthcare coverage. We need to make it better. Taxes are a bit of an issue, and walking distance to the elementary school. It is what it is, right? In terms of air pollution, of course, everything is on this side of town. Ground pollution, same thing. Noise pollution, also not a big deal for now. And water pollution, again, we don't have to worry about that right at this moment. As you can see, we are back to making a profit with our city. Of course, this is going to fluctuate, and it's going to depend on our population. Now there is a demand for basically residential. So let's build a little bit more residential here, and let's do some squares. I think here. here, and I'm gonna explain you basically the reason why um,
Recent spikes in demand have led to temporary
I
local
took away one of
shortages
the
in
roads in
city's
here is
fresh
because
water
this road is
supply.
gonna
The
go
public should be aware that
from
we are
this side
struggling to get the
to this
situation
side,
in hand.
and this road is gonna go from this side
This
to
has been a
this side.
local public service announcement.
And I usually like to
This
do things in
is
pairs when it
Second
comes to
Moon
like the
Radio
little
Classical for the
downtown
modern
areas. And in
age.
this case,
Unlike
this
most
can be a
films,
one-way street,
music
and this
classical
will
has
be
always
another
been
one-way street.
penned by someone sitting in front
Or
of a sheet
this can be a
of
one-way
paper,
street, this can be another one-way street, this can be a
using
one-way street, this
only
can be another
their
one-way street.
imagination
And so that's
as
why I
guides
like to do
through a
things that
silent
way. So
audible
let's pause the game
music
just really quick.
Now here we sit
Let's
listening
delete
at full
this
volume, and our
and just
souls are
increase this
transported.
road and
But let us not
hook
tarry.
up this
On to the
here.
next episode.
The leader
And
of the
that
City
way,
Services Division
let's
is
unpause
with us
the game,
in
make
the
sure that
studio
everything
today to
is
talk
running
about
well.
why they're contracting with.
Well, quite frankly,
And so
yes,
overall,
it
I
is
did
an
kind of
additional
enjoy this
expense,
game
but
at the
the residents have
beginning.
come
You
to
know,
expect
when
a certain
it
level
was
of
released,
services.
I know
We
it was
simply do
very,
not have the
very
capacity to provide
problematic.
them within the city.
Sounds like we're the ones who will end
And
up
it still
paying
is, right?
for it.
Things are not
Should we
perfect.
be worried?
I expect the residents would be more distressed
And again,
if key services
we
became unavailable.
we
The
shouldn't be
quality of life
apologetic,
is
but at the
very
same time, we
important to
shouldn't be
But
hateful
so
as
is their
to
money.
what
We'll be back after this.
these things
We're live,
are or these things
and we're
work.
getting
Again,
reports about a traffic
people
accident,
tend to
somewhere in the city.
forget
Road maintenance services
that
have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal. But if you're
these
planning a quick trip out,
games are
you might
basically
want
for
to wait
profit,
a little
right?
while until everything
Nobody's
clears
talking
up.
about
If you're
making
in it,
things for free. Nobody's talking about
you already know
doing this
no
for the
use
better of
reminding
humanity.
you.
And a lot of times we don't understand that. And if you didn't like this game, that's fine. If you want to tell people don't buy this game, that's fine. What I think we shouldn't do overall is get mad at people who enjoy this game. You know, like there's no reason why nobody should get mad at me because right now I'm truly and completely enjoying this game. But some people feel the need to do that, and I think that's where we need to a little bit draw a line, right? Again, if you didn't enjoy the game, that's fine. You're not supposed to like everything that everybody else likes, and I think that's sometimes an issue. But thankfully, I think things are getting better. This patch, this Economy 2.0 patch and update, I think personally that it's working great, and that it's gonna do great for this game before we finish. So yeah, I think this patch is a great thing for the game. It's allowing us to go back to the game, to continue loving the game, playing the game, and especially because we know there's gonna be DLCs and content creator packs. But yeah, they messed up, and they even messed up the sea, the shoreline buildings. And again, another criticism: we don't have a beach park. I don't understand why. I don't understand why that's so difficult to create. I expected it in the park DLC for Cities Skylines 1. It didn't happen. At least SimCity 4 has a beach park, and it looks great, right? I don't know why it's so difficult for them to do that. But again, maybe I don't know anything about, of course, this type of work. So let's take a look at the development trees. The roads, I think we're fine for now, but we do need parking, so we're gonna unlock this. We're gonna use 2 of our 6 blocks here. In terms of electricity, I guess we're fine for now. If we need more power, we're gonna just buy another plant. In terms of water, again, we're fine with water. Healthcare, I think we're fine for now. We don't need a crematorium or the hospital because again, we're not that big. In terms of garbage, maybe we might want a recycling center, but again, we're not making that much money, so we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that for later. Education and research, I think we're fine with just waiting to unlock this. That way we can have college and our city can grow a little bit more. Fire rescue, again, I'm fine without this. Maybe we'll unlock this and build one. And for the police administration, I guess we need the welfare office. But again, once we start making a little bit more money, we're again on our first episode. We're in milestone 4, which is great. We got a little bit more money. We got more points. And finally, we unlock the parks and recreation, and that's something that I completely dislike. The fact that parks and recreation are not unlocked at the beginning. Neither were in City Skylines 1. So that's a big issue at least for me. I unlocked this because I do want to unlock one of these two, right? And I think we're gonna do the sports parks. And I think I said the college, and we're gonna have some more left. In terms of tiles, I think that the only one that I might want to unlock for now is this one, and I will unlock it because we do need to grow our city a little bit more, and I think this is where we can do more medium density. Again, we're a grand village with less than 3,000 people, and the game is already requiring us to do some high density. We have high density demand. Again, it doesn't make any sense for a 3,000 people city. Again, that's just me. I don't know if I'm being too extreme with this, but again, I don't think that a city with a population so small needs high density residential areas. I do understand that the fact that of course this is a completely different game from SimCity 4, that of course it's more difficult, and it depends on your machine, how many people, what population you can have in your city. But again, I think that it's a little bit unfair. So I just think that it's unrealistic more than unfair. It's a little bit unrealistic. And again, we're making good money here. Again, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But before we finish, let's try to build some parks. As you can see, we got some more parks. The Tiny City Park, where we had Dog Park, we had the small park, we now have the Ring Park. We also had the small plaza, and we had the campfire site. In terms of sports, we are just with the same. And again, we also had some new parks for these large parks, but we'll see them whenever we unlock that. So let's do a small plaza here, and maybe we can do, if we have, also we have more parking lots, right? We have the motorcycle parking lot, we have the tiny parking lot, which is great. We have the modest parking lot, we have the canopy covered parking lot, we have the small parking lot, which is what we already had. We have the long parking lot, and I do like this. We have the medium parking lot. We have the wide parking lot, which again, I do like it. There we go. We have the large parking lot, which we already had, and we have the very large parking lot. I think in here, we can do the medium parking lot, right? And maybe one here, and maybe we fit this here. Nope. Let's do this. There you go. And let's just do a little walkway here. And I don't think we're going to be able to put any trees. Well, maybe a couple of trees. There you go. And as always, I like to have parking lots without the leaves. Okay. And we need one more park, and I think we're gonna place it. Let's place it here. Let's see which one we can do. Let's do a skate park, but you know what? Let's put it here under the power lines. We're gonna have to do a lot more. But I think we're fine. We're fine for now. And the last thing that I kind of wanna do, first of all, is there should be no parking here. I don't know why people are parking there. but we cannot do anything because we don't have the road services, and I think that's what we have to unlock, right? And sure, let's do the roundabouts. Sure, why not? Okay, so first of all, one of the tools that I love in this game is this complex curve. I really think that that's something that I think we had some mods for that. Again, I don't use any mods. So for all of you that already had something like this, great. But doing this type of complex curves, I just love it. I do love it. I think that it's great. And I think we're gonna do this here. There we go. And we are gonna do the two-way street. So let me pause the game really quick. And let's do this one way, and let's do this one way. And let's make sure that we don't have any left turns. There we go. And again, we have unlocked a lot of stuff. We can look at it later. So let's put this in here now. Let's do a median instead. There you go. Okay. And let's do the whole one-way street up to here and up to here. I still have to kind of decide whether I want to do these squares as the two-way streets. And you know what? Sure. Let's have this one here and here. And so we know that these squares are the ones that are going to go one way. So let's see how this works. Well, let's pause the game really quick and let's make sure that there's, you know what, let's make it nice. It's going to be our entrance to the city. So let's make it nice. At least these few ones. Because again, I don't know why they insist on parking there. Again, it makes no sense. And I think that's it for right now. So let's take a quick look before we finish for today's episode. And one more thing, I forgot we need to do this. And let's take away all the crossings because there should be nobody crossing, nobody walking this. And let's take a look. And so this intersection is working really, really well. Just before we finish, and I've said this like 24 times. To those of you that complain about traffic, sometimes this is all you have as an entrance and an exit. And right now, of course, we're not a big city and we don't have that much stuff to trade and whatnot. But once you continue growing, you do need to increase your exits and entrances to the highway. I live in Texas, as I said before, and most of the interstate highways and the expressways have, I forgot the name right now, but they have the frontage roads. And that's also something that a lot of people maybe don't do, and that's also very helpful. But more important than that, there's a lot of entrances and exits to the city. There shouldn't just be one here and just one here or whatever, which I think that's what's going to be the
caution if you must drive, and try to
thing.
stay
I
off the
think we
streets
might
until
want to
conditions
do.
improve. This has been a
We can
local
do one
public
here.
service
Let's see.
announcement.
A driving advisory has been issued
We're gonna have
for
to
the
unlock these
immediate area
tiles.
due to poor road
We can do
conditions.
this.
Please exercise caution if you must drive and
We
try
also
to stay
have
off the
another
streets
large
until
road,
conditions improve.
and maybe these could be
This
our
has
other
been
large
a
road.
local public service
Maybe these
announcement.
can be the actual
What
exit.
kind of future does music have if it doesn't look to
Let's
its
just
past?
upgrade it
Well,
right
I
now
say the question
because
speaks for itself.
if
Here
we
on
don't, then I'll
Second
forget.
Moon, we know you can't move forward unless you keep both
I-
eyes
I-
steadily trained on
I'm a
what's
little bit.
behind you.
I don't know if I
We're
completely
live,
love the
and
fact
we're
that
getting reports about a traffic accident
we have these
somewhere
roads,
in the
the
city.
medium
Road
and then the
maintenance services
large,
have already been dispatched, and
but
traffic
not
flow
that.
should
It's
return to
just
normal.
I find it a
But if
little
you're
bit
planning a
more
quick trip out,
complex to
you
figure out
might
how to
want to
deal
wait a
with
little while until everything
roads and
clears
growing
up.
the
If
city.
you're in it,
But again, that's
you
me
already
on
know
my
about it.
on
No
my
use reminding
on my
you.
end.
Meanwhile,
I do also like the fact that we have new
drive safe.
roundabouts. That it's not only
A
the
housing
regular
shortage is
roundabout.
driving up prices in the area.
And
That's right.
whenever I
But
can, I
apparently
try
it's
to make sure
not
that there's
all
no
good
lights
news. We're joined today by an
anywhere. I think
expert
that
guest,
again,
Professor
even though
Clark.
I live in Texas and we
Welcome,
don't have that
Professor.
many
So, a
roundabouts around,
housing shortage is
I do think the
bad for
roundabouts,
people trying to
for
move
the
here,
purpose of
right?
this game, are needed,
Humans are programmed to
and I'm glad
desire
that we can have
certain
those a little bit easier.
representations within
And
ideological
I
rewards
think
structures, which are
maybe we need a
entirely
road
apart
here.
from
We
the
can just do it
actual
like that.
rewards enjoyed.
Um,
For
and so for
example,
now,
consider
One,
capital.
for
Fred,
our
one final
city of
question,
Port
Professor.
Austin, for
Is the
this being
housing
our
shortage going to
first
make me richer?
By
town,
certain
our first
metrics,
new
perhaps
city,
yes,
with
in the
the
short
economy
term.
2.0
I like the
update,
sound of
I
that.
But
think this
what
is
we are
going
discussing
pretty
is the
well.
study of the
As you
statistical
recall, we were able to
abstraction and
create a
its
profit
effect on the human
in
psyche.
Thank
our
you, Professor.
second
It is a
milestone
question of
when we're a small
priority.
village. Of course, we lost it right away, but it's possible. By our third one, of course, we were able to make a profit. So the subsidies were not needed. As you can see, we have no subsidies and there is no service trade that's negative. So we're not selling anything right now. And this is important because we are gonna need a another power plant really soon. We've grown our city, I think, really well, really nice. Uh, Again, if you look on the outside, it does look like just a regular little town anywhere in at least North America. So that's working really well. And I'm glad that we were able to talk about City Skylines 2, that we were able to talk about the release, that we were able to talk about the good things and the bad things and what we should expect. I think that the fact that the Economy 2.0 update was a big deal says a lot of positive things about this game. This game improved with this update. We have new buildings that were free updates, and I hope that the developers keep putting as much love as they are right now with this game, because overall I think that it looks, in terms of dimensions, it's better. Like, this looks like a real city, right? You don't have all these big buildings right away. You don't have all these things right away, because that's not what real cities, how real cities grow uh, anymore, maybe, or not at all. So I do think that this is very important uh, for the game. I really hope that the developers keep doing these type of things, and that they keep doing the DLCs and whatnot, because we do need more stuff for this game. Again, the game as it is right now, with the Economy 2.0 update and the patches and everything, I think is more enjoyable to play. You have a bigger challenge, because now if you wanna grow your city, it's gonna cost you not only to grow it but to keep it growing, because each tile now has an upkeep charge. Again, it's an interesting way to increase the difficulty. I don't personally think that should have been the way, but that's the way it is. And overall, I think that it's City Skylines 2 has been improved as opposed to the way that it was released uh, many months ago. The response maybe wasn't as it should have, and definitely this game shouldn't have been released when it was released. They should have waited to do a little bit more, just like Tears of the Kingdoms did, Tears of the Kingdoms did. And I know that Nintendo is a whole different situation. They're a huge company with a lot more resources, but I think that would have helped the game more. And sure, we had they released another DLC for City Skylines 1, I'm sure that we would have supported that way. And they said, you know what, support this DLC, that way we can get the game City Skylines 2 improved. I'm sure we all would have pitched in to do that. Maybe with the beaches DLC, please do that soon. I think that can add a lot to these beautiful cities, these beautiful maps that have a lot of shoreline, and we have no way to truly take advantage of it. And we don't even have any parks where people can go fish. right? That's something that City Skylines 1 has, and not this game, which again, it'll get better. I do truly believe that, and I do think that we should support this game, and we should criticize it. We should praise it when it needs to be praised, and we should criticize it when it needs to be criticized. And so I'm glad to be playing this game. I'm glad to come back to making videos for you. And I truly hope that you enjoy this video, this episode 1 for Austin, that you like the video, that you leave the comments that you want with suggestions to the city, and that you subscribe and keep watching the following videos. So as always, thank you very much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And we'll see us in our next video with episode 2. Thank you.